My son was just disciplined for doing something that he wasn't supposed to do, right? Upon him being disciplined, I sent him in his room. So he's in his room right now. He's upset. He's yelling. He's screaming. He's crying. He's saying some things that, whatever. He's saying he's upset right now. I could go in there and beat him for yelling and everything else like we used to get done to us back in the day. But I let him have that. I let his emotions out. Go ahead. Do all that you need to do, right? But when this happens, he says, I hate it here. I just want to go with my dad. I want to live with my dad. Now, hate it here, that's fine. That's cool. Whatever. But you want to go live with the man that you've only met twice in your 5 years of living because I disciplined you. I won't lie and say that when he says those things, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It hurts my feelings because I know I'm a good mom. And I know that he's just angry right now. But it really sucks when you're the only parent because you have to do everything. You got to praise them and you got to discipline them. And unfortunately, sometimes because you are the only parent, you get deemed the bad parent or the mean parent or the strict parent or whatever, while the other parent who's not around, who comes around every now and again and buys some toys and take them to the park, is automatically the good parent, the better parent. Like, I don't talk about my children's father to them. I don't diss him. I don't do anything. But I know what kind of man he is. This man doesn't check for y'all. This man doesn't call for y'all. This man don't care about y'all. And then the minute you get in trouble, it's, I want to go with my daddy. I don't know. I guess I'm just... I don't know. I love my children. But if I had the choice to not have kids with no village, I wouldn't have kids. Y'all, when I tell you it's so hard, it's so hard. And I'm trying everything not to give up, not to go crazy. Don't have no kids if you don't have no village.
So, this woman, she is obviously expressing herself and the reality of being a single parent. Not the glitz and glamour that everybody else is talking about. Not the I could do bad all by myself. We don't need no man. We could raise these kids on our own. They don't need their daddy. Very much on a very truthful, humble state of being, and actually talking to the younger girls and are saying, I did this, and in retrospect, this was not the best idea. I should not have done this. I love my kids. I don't want to say that I don't love them or I don't want them, but maybe I would have waited for a better or opportune time before I decided to have children. And this is when I always say that, every single mother is not painted with the same brush, and all single mothers are not created equally, because you have some who are on the side of bitterness, who are on the recruiting end, who are recruiting more women to be like them and make the mistakes that they did. And then you have the other ones who understand very quickly that this was not the best route of choices that they've made, and they are going back to the younger women and saying, hold on now. Let me offer you this real, raw perspective. It is not easy. It's tough. It's hurtful. It's a lot on my brain, on my mind. One of the things that she said was that, it's hard when you're the parent that is the disciplinarian, and then you have the other parent who only is fun, turns a blind eye, acts like they don't see, acts like they don't want to be around or be into or whatever the case is, and you have to be both good cop and bad cop. And the reason why it is tough to do both of those things is because it is a situation when you are growing a child that is not meant for one person alone to bear. It's not intended that way. It's intended for a village. But more importantly than the village outside, it is just intended for two people, the duality of the feminine and the masculine, to be able to raise that child where you can soothe and console. And, the leader can be the disciplinarian, the one that keeps things in check, or whatever it is. It's vital. It's very vital. And I think that a lot of younger girls need to see more videos like this to understand that it's not a game. It's not about buying, matching clothes so you can have a little mini you and walk around thinking that it's cute. It's not a toy. When you have children, that is something that you have to be dedicated to forever. Always. You never turn off being a parent. You never stop being a parent. It is something that you have to be committed to. You can't say, oh, this is hard, and try to give it back. If you're trying to do it the right way. If you care about your seed. It's difficult. And the thing is that, I believe she said that she's been a single mother now for 10 years, but the son who had this complaint was 5 years old. And if I'm not mistaken, I feel like I heard another baby. I don't know if maybe she's babysitting. I don't want to say that's her children. I don't want to give this woman more children than she actually has because she only mentioned one son. But it sounds like there's more than one. It sounds like there's a plethora. Maybe possibly 3 or 2. And just to know that this child has only met the other half of themselves a couple of times, but the imprint is there. This is what I think that a lot of single mothers have to keep in mind, right? And the reason why I'm directing this solely to single mothers is because statistics have shown that if a man raises a child, that child is no different than a child that is raised in a 2-parent household. The only difference that we see is when it's the mother that's raising a child. Any child. The fact that she said her son, I'm going to say even worse, that it's a boy. But I think that what a lot of single mothers do not realize is that there is a hole within these children that they cannot explain. There is a void there that is unexplainable. They could have met this person one time. They could have never met this person. There is just something within them that is saying that I have another part to myself, and I should be able to have that same access to the other part of myself. It's something that a lot of young kids do all the time. They could have met this person twice. Once. They could have only talked to this person on the phone. But when things go awry, they want to have that accessibility to go to that other part of themselves. This is why it is very important to vet properly. It's very important. This is why it is very important for younger women to understand the magnitude of the connection and the the stability in your relationship before you go to that next step. I understand that marriage is not for everybody. I get it. However, this is why it is important that you have the ultimate form of commitment with this person before you have a child. And there's a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of problems. But the reason why it would behoove the younger woman to do so is because when it comes to the court system and when it comes to certain situations, you see, there's certain things that are going to be in place. As in certain things like shared custody, a balance between two parties. This is where somebody can come in and it's like, okay, you get Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you get Tuesday and Thursday, and then y'all switch. In my personal opinion, again, there's going to be certain situations that people will still take you through the ringer. People will go to extreme lengths to cause havoc in your life. on the man's side. However, I think it kind of prohibits a bit of that bitter baby mama complex. You can't see your kids. You're not going to be around. You're not going to be this. You're not going to be that. It causes a certain amount of balance for the most important entity when the relationship is not together, and that's the children. As this woman said, she said that she does not talk negative about her children, her child's father or anything like that. She does not disclose any of this information. Obviously, she speaks a certain way to where this child is still saying or calling for them. And that's a tough situation to be in. When you're not really walking around with that bitterness, when you're not really in a certain space where you're necessarily at odds and you're just trying to do, but at the end of the day, you're still going to feel the effects of raising a child separated from their father. Sometimes you got to call his mama. I'm just being real. Sometimes you got to phone a friend and say, look, I need help. This is rough on me. I know this is my responsibility, but I can't. Sometimes you need to call his dad and say, listen, I know you said you're going to stop by or whatever the case is. I understand. Can you come get him? He wants you. Let him spend the night for the weekend. If it's obviously a trustworthy experience or whatever the case is. You must trust him enough because you had a child with him. Sometimes you have to not just stand there and wait and just see and figure it out by yourself. Sometimes you have to put action in place. Form the relationship. Push the relationship to be what it is. Because you're already in it. Got to make the best of it. And again, this is why I so much appreciate her going and talking to these younger women and letting it be known it's not all dandelions and roses. It's rough out here. Don't think that, you could just get pregnant. You could just have a kid. There's a lot of things people don't tell you about it. There's a lot of things that happen internally within you and within your body that people are not going to tell you about. There's a lot of hurt and sacrifice that comes with it. And if you're not in the best situation, you get no days off, no time off, no space, no time for yourself. And I love the fact that she is spreading the awareness. I'm not sure where her family is. I'm not sure where her part of the village is. But I hope that she can get with the daddy and try to figure out a schedule, figure out some kind of timetable, because that child needs his father regardless. I hope they can figure it out and get it together. I hope that, she's able to be peaceful with him, even though he's only coming and bringing the toys, that she can extend the hand and say, listen, your child needs you. This is why it's also very important that a lot of younger women understand that, especially when you're not in a committed relationship, but when you're having a child, I think it's very important that because you are the one who is in control over your womb, if a man says that he does not want a child and you still want the child, that child is still coming forth. However, in those times, and I'm not saying this is her situation, I don't know anything about her situation more than what she just shared. So this is not directed to her. I'm just generalizing this statement. In those times where you knew that this person did not want the child, but you decided you was going to have this child anyway, and you still trying to hold them to this standard, they told you before you had that child that they weren't ready. I understand that a man is the one who technically gets a woman pregnant, but I have to be honest with you. If you as a woman are not ready to be a parent, if you as a woman are not ready to be a parent and to have a child, you need to be taking whatever contraceptive method that you can take for your own body and for your sake, and not depend on or rely on anybody else, because you know what you can handle. This is just my opinion. I hope that she figures out this situation. I hope that she does get it together and she gets the strength to be able to continue to take on the responsibility that she took on from the beginning. I really hope that she's able to figure this out and evolve and grow. I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I would love to hear you guys' opinions on this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.